Hello again. Welcome to another lesson in Algebra 1. Today we are covering section 9.3, find special products of polynomials. All right, so remember we have to multiply the first two and the last two before we can do that add in between. Okay, so first two multiplied together make 3x squared plus x. And the second two multiplied together make x squared plus x minus 1. This is an add in between, so it's add the whole second polynomial, so we don't need to worry about changing any of the terms in the second polynomial to their opposites. Combine the like terms. 3x squared plus x squared makes 4x squared. And then we have an x, a plus x, and a minus x, so that goes together to make plus x. 2x minus 1 makes, 1x makes 1x. And then we have a minus 1 at the end. So 4x squared plus x minus 1. All right, number 2, it's these two polynomials multiplied together, subtract these two polynomials multiplied together, okay? However, when I look at the subtract here, what I'm going to do is treat this as subtract x times this polynomial. So this will become x squared plus 5x plus 2x plus 10 minus 4x squared plus x. Negative x times negative 1 makes positive x. Combine the x squareds, that'll make 3x squareds. Combine the x terms, 5, 2, and 1, that makes plus 8x. And the constant term, we only have a 10, so plus 10. All right. And in our last one here, same thing, we have to multiply these two binomials and multiply these two binomials before we can add up all the like terms. So we get m squared minus 3m plus 7m minus 21 plus, and plus is not going to change anything back here, so m squared plus 5m minus 4m minus 20. Combine the m squareds, that'll make 2m squareds. We have a minus 3 plus 7 plus 5 and minus 4 for m to put together. So there's the m, and then 4, 9 minus 4 is 5. So 5m. And then negative 21 and negative 20 go together to make negative 41. So all of these need two lines of work. You need to show both lines. All right, let's flip it over and see what's on the next page. On the second page, we have two problems at the top with the directions simplify each. So we have x plus 4 squared. So something squared means we're timesing it by itself 2 times. So x plus 4 times x plus 4. All right, so then we'll do FOIL with this. So that's x squared. Outside is 4x, inside is 4x. We'll go ahead and do this. So 4x plus 4x, and then plus 16. Notice that the inside terms and the outside terms are exactly the same, so we have 2 of them. So 2 times 4x could make 8x here. Okay, so our final answer is x squared plus 8x plus 16. Same thing for number 2. So this is 3m minus 2 times itself. And then we go, okay, first terms is 9m squared, outside is negative 6m. Inside is negative 6m, and the last is positive 4. So our answer is 9m squared. And then the first or the outer and the inner are the same. So we could just times one of them by 2. So negative 12m and then plus 4. Okay. Whenever we have this special square of a binomial pattern, so here's a binomial and I'm squaring it. Here's a binomial and I'm squaring it. The inner and outer terms will always be exactly the same. So we can use that to our advantage to do it quickly with this. So a plus b squared, well, that's just take the first term and multiply them together. Take the last terms and multiply them together. And then times the two together and double it because it's always the same in the middle. So for instance, x plus 5 squared is square the first, x squared, square the last, 5 times 5 is 25, times them together, that's the inner, or outer, and then since there's the inner and outer are the same, we just double that, so 5x times 2 makes 10x. Okay, same thing here. A minus b squared is a square the first term for a squared, square negative b for negative b times negative b for positive b squared. Times them together, they make negative ab, and then double it. So negative 2ab. So here, 2x times 2x makes 4x squared. Negative 3 times negative 3 makes positive 9. If I times them together, I get negative 6x, and then I double that because the inner and outer are the same. So 2 times negative 6 makes negative 12x. Okay, so we're going to use that square binomial pattern to help us do these really fast. So one more time. Square of the first term. Okay, square of the second term. 3 times 3 for 9. And then times the two of them together. X times 3 is 3x. Double it gives me 6x. That means times by 2. So x squared plus 6x plus 9. Same here. So square the first term. So that's 2x times 2x for 4x squared. Square the second term. That's 1 times 1 for 1. Times them together. 1 times 2x is 2x. And then times that by 2 because the outside and the inside are the same. So this would be 4x. 2x times 2 makes 4x. Okay. Number 5. Square the first. So that's 4x times 4x for 16x squared. Square the second. That's negative y times negative y for positive y squared. Times them together. So 4x times negative y, and then double that. Okay, that's a y. So that's 8, negative 8, and then an x and a y. So negative 8xy. All right. And number 6, same thing. Square the first, so 3m times 3m is 9m squared. Square the last, n times n is n squared. And then take the two things, multiply them together, and double it. So this will make plus 6mn. All right, this concludes the second page. Let's flip it over, see what's on the third one. On the third page, we start off some directions that say simplify each. And in this case, we have two binomials. They look almost the same, except one of them has a second term of positive and the other has a second term of negative. So let's try this with FOIL. So the first terms multiply together to make x squared. The outside multiply together to make negative 2x. The inside multiply together to make positive 2x. And the last terms are negative 4. Notice the inside and the outside are almost the same. They're just opposites of each other. So they go away. All right, second one, same thing. Almost look the same for both binomials, except the last terms are opposites. So we multiply the first terms, we get 4x squared. We multiply the last terms, the outside terms, we get negative 2x. Inside is positive 2x, and the last term is negative 1. Okay, 1 times negative 1. Notice, once again, the inside and outside are opposites of each other, so they add up to 0. So we don't write the 0, we just say 4x minus 1. And this pattern holds true all the time. So this is the sum and difference binomial pattern. And it says, hey, if the binomials look the same except the terms are opposite for the last terms, then we can just ignore the last term and put a minus in between it. Okay. Same with the second one, if the first one's a minus and the second one's add. Okay, so here's two examples over here, x plus 3 and x minus 3. We notice that we have the same first terms and the second terms are opposites. Then all we have to do is multiply the first terms to get x squared, multiply the last terms to get minus 9, and you can ignore the inside and outside. So it saves you 2 steps. Okay. All right, same thing if we had the minus first. So 2x times 2x will make 4x squared, minus 1 times positive 1 makes minus 1. The inside and outside will cancel out, so we don't need to worry about them. All right, so here's a couple examples. We have 7x plus 1 and 7x minus 1. These two binomials look almost essentially the same, just the last terms are opposites of each other. So this fits our pattern. So we just multiply the first terms, and we multiply the last terms, and we're done. Okay, same with number 10. This fits our pattern. So we have 3x plus 5 and 3x minus 5. The only difference is the last terms are opposites. So multiply the first terms, multiply the last terms, because the inside and outside will cancel out. Okay. Number 11. 5x plus y and 5x minus y. These are essentially the same. The only difference is the last terms are opposites. So 5x times 5x is 25x squared, and y times y is negative y squared. Okay, number 12, 5p squared times 5p squared gives me 25p to the fourth. 1 times negative 1 gives me negative 1. The inside and the outside are going to cancel out because it fits our, let's see, make sure I read the name right, sum and difference binomial pattern. So this binomial is an add, this one's a subtract, and besides that, they're the exact same. Okay. All right, now let's say we get to a quiz or test and you've forgotten these two rules. Well, they're useful to memorize, but if you've forgotten them, just do it the long way. So notice at both times before we did the pattern, we did two simplifies of which you could do yourself with just doing FOIL. Same as 7 and 8 here, and 1 and 2 on the second page. All right, so you can always just go ahead and FOIL. The 1 and 2 on the second page, sometimes people forget what to do with squared there. So be careful you can't distribute the 2 here like you could when it's just a single term inside, because 2 terms doesn't allow us to do that, so we have to write it out twice. Okay. All right, so for follow-up, finish the Khan Academy module Polynomials Special Products. That's just what we were doing. Okay, so you're practicing both special things. It's due no later than the day after next class. All right, I'll see you in class.